Food is one of the biggest aspects in Asian culture. It brings people together. It forms connections and relationships in every culture. And for some, it can bring back memories of loved ones who've passed. These motifs of food and connection have been explored in many pieces of media, and Little Forest does this too, using food as a way to connect with others. I'm going to be spoiling this movie while exploring these themes. If you're interested in watching this movie, definitely do watch it. You can find it for free on Tubi. It's more slow-paced than some other movies, but it's beautiful because of that. Hae-won returns home after failing her teacher certification exam, back into the rural countryside where she grew up with her friends and family. Beautiful slice-of-life drama about Hae-won learning how to live without her mother or her boyfriend back in the city. But in place of that are her friends who she reconnects with and the meals that she makes from her mother's cookbook. Hae-won escaped from the city, from the urban landscape she spent so much time in, back into the sublime, natural world of a village. The little forest she lives in becomes an escape from the cold, corporate world of Seoul. The slow pace of the city is consistent throughout the entire film. By doing this, it allows the movie more introspection and attention to detail. The extended cooking scenes create an atmosphere almost reminiscent of her own experiences of home-cooked food, mirroring how little Hae-won felt while her mother cooked, and paralleling how the friends of adult Hae-won felt while she was cooking. Without any flashy scenes or rushed action, the characters are allowed to develop their relationships with one another. The movie is split into 4 parts: winter, spring, summer, and fall, in that order, and it's winter when Hae-won goes back to her hometown. Winter is used in film to show coldness and death. Her mother isn't dead, but she is gone, and with her whereabouts being unknown, it essentially takes on the same meaning. She then goes on to begin making tteokbokki since she craves it. Tteokbokki is often seen as a comfort dish, making those who eat it feel nostalgic about their childhoods. The spiciness combats the harsh chill of the winter, leaving warmth and comfort. That's why Hae-won suddenly craves it. In the absence of her mother, in the cold, empty walls of a childhood home, she wants comfort. It's why she came back to her village after failing her exam. She desires solace. And so, making the tteokbokki is a way of coping without her mother. Luckily, she doesn't have to go through this alone. The next meal that she makes is pad ta, layered rice cake with red beans. This is made when celebrating something, like a birthday or a festival, or when moving to a new house to share with the neighbors. While Hae-won initially says she doesn't plan on staying for long, her making this says otherwise. She knows that deep down she desires to stay with her friends. But there's another meaning to this as well. Notice how she puts her friend in Suk to work. Not anything big, just helping her cook while Jae-ha builds outside. This is the first big moment all 3 of these friends share together. In most pieces of media, and in cultures worldwide, sharing food brings us closer to our friends and family, our loved ones. This moment marks the beginning of their renewed relationships, ready to learn who they are again. There's one more line here I want to talk about. Jae-ha notices that Hae-won's cooking is slightly different from her mother's. This shows the closeness that they had before she left for Seoul, but it also shows Hae-won slowly moving on from the absence of her mother. She uses gardenia instead of pumpkin, and she adds a little bit more salt to the red beans. She's changing up the recipe, fitting it to her liking with the taste buds altered by the city. Because as her need for comfort is met with her friends, her need for her mother slowly backs away into the background. A little bittersweet really, if you think about it. For the final cooking scene of the winter, Hae-won makes makgeolli, a traditional Korean rice-based wine accompanied with jeon, the Korean equivalent of fritters. It's a nice little break she gets to share with her friend, and after some drinking, they get a little too close to In-suk's liking when she finds them together. There's a saying that drunken words are sober thoughts. The alcohol is the vehicle which makes them so physically close to each other and reveals a deeper set of attraction that neither of them may not want to admit, especially considering In-suk. While it does create a tiny bit of tension, it's quickly left behind as she joins them for food and drink. The makgeolli breaks down some more barriers between them, and they grow closer and closer. It's also in this scene when Hae-won decides to stay throughout the spring, to see if she can get answers, to see if she would be happier here, like how Jae-ha is. Spring comes along, and Heywan begins planting seeds for the upcoming harvest with her friends. In a literal sense, it shows that Heywan is, at the very least, planning to stay after the spring, throughout the summer and fall, but symbolically, it's meant to represent Heywan planting her roots in the grounds of her home. And immediately after the scene ends, we're treated with a short but still gorgeous cooking scene. Noodles and basil leaves and shredded cheese come together to make pasta. Topped on is flowers for the spring. It's a very simple dish, but the beauty lies in the simplicity. If the flowers represent spring, then eating the flowers is symbolic of embracing the spring season, further showing her unwillingness to leave. Flowers show up again in the next big cooking scene. But as the season closes, as spring fades and summer takes its place, Heywan makes fried acacia flowers. There's not much to say here, or at least not much that I can say, but it does show her virilness coming back to her, little by little. For the summer, she makes creme brulee. This comes up after her mother sends Heywan a potato bread recipe. So because she comes up in her life again, her mother begins to break into her mind. Like Heywan breaking the creme brulee. We also get the scene after a bit of cooking, a younger Heywan with her mother. More memories pop up from that one letter. And despite her outward aversion to it, all of her memories are still positive, showing how she still misses her mother, even if it's not as much as she did before. There's also a picnic scene here with all three of the friends. Functionally, it gives her the courage to move on from a city life, as she calls her city boyfriend to finally congratulate him on passing his exam, something she's been putting off for the past few months. As the time passes, and as she becomes more familiar with her surroundings, she moves on from her life in the city. Here, Heywan and Insuk make tteokbokki again, but it's Heywan taking on a more nurturing role, while Insuk makes the dish. It's a callback from earlier in the movie. Back when we first saw it being made, it was a symbol of Heywan's desire for maternal comfort, but the roles are reversed now, showing how friends can help one another move on. Of course, Heywan still misses her mother, but it's not as overbearing as it once was, as her other relations bring out the same feelings that she wants and needs to feel. Now that fall has arrived, Heywan collects chestnuts to make marron glacé, or sugar chestnuts. Notice how she collects the chestnuts herself, and how long it takes to cook compared to the rest of the food in the movie. Marron glacé is meant to show her learning and practicing patience. Moving from a bustling city life to a slow country life is a hard transition, but in the season of autumn, the season seen in many films is symbolic of maturity, Heywan does so. In one of the final scenes in the movie, Heywan has one final memory of her mother after putting up the persimmons, and it shows the difference between the two. Heywan was rushing, quick, rural life was too slow for her, while her mother seemed to be just fine with it. But now, as time passed, Heywan learned how to be patient, while her mother finally got the life she wasn't able to have. They got the best of both worlds. Once we get back to the winter, when the persimmons dry and the snow falls, Heywan leaves. She wanted to leave early in the film, but if she did so, then she wouldn't have been able to learn how to take it slow, how great connections can be with those you love, how to enjoy life just a little bit more. You know, writing the script was really fun. Hopefully I'll have this video out by Thanksgiving, with the whole food theme and all, but who knows. Trying out a new video editor, so hopefully it doesn't take too long to edit. If there's any movies you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. This has been Cons, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.